Not China. But another Iranian ally now appears to be stepping in with a nuclear twist that could complicate Trump's pressure campaign. As Trump appears to make a U-turn on uranium enrichment, Iran is now openly acknowledging Putin's offer of help on the nuclear file.
20 years is not enough for you, it's going to be
No, 20 years is enough, but the level of guarantee from them is, it's got to be a real 20 years.
If this line holds, Washington's pressure strategy could face a fresh setback even before any ground option ever gets off the drawing board. Iran's foreign minister has reportedly confirmed that he discussed Russia's nuclear offer with Russian officials. Araghchi said he had spoken with Russian officials about Moscow's proposal to store Iran's enriched uranium. Iran's foreign minister also expressed appreciation for Russia's stated intention to help, according to Al Jazeera. Araghchi said Iran plans to postpone the enriched uranium issue to later rounds of talks with the United States. He also indicated that Iran may consider Russia's proposal at an appropriate time, Al Jazeera reported. Abbas Araghchi said, and I quote, "When we come to that stage, obviously we will have more consultations with Russia and see if the Russian offer can help or not. This is not something at the time being unquote." Iran's enriched uranium stockpile had been one of the central issues in its dispute with the US before the Hormuz crisis took over the agenda. Washington now appears to be more focused on reopening the Strait of Hormuz after the armed conflict with Iran. Trump has also recently appeared to soften or adjust his stance on the enriched uranium issue. Donald Trump said he would accept a 20-year suspension of Iran's uranium enrichment program, signaling openness to a long but time-limited arrangement rather than insisting on immediate permanent dismantlement. The remarks signal a shift from his earlier hardline demand for a permanent end to enrichment, indicating greater flexibility if long-term verification and enforcement are assured. Trump said he would reject any proposal that allows any nuclear activity in its initial terms, stressing he expects strict baseline limits before considering phased concessions. However, he clarified that a 20-year ban is enough, provided it is backed by credible, enforceable mechanisms and continuous international oversight to prevent covert activity. Trump also claimed Iran backtracked on an earlier understanding to remove its enriched uranium stockpile, portraying Tehran as failing to follow through on prior commitments. The US president said Iranian officials cited technical limitations and argued they lacked the capacity to remove the material, a claim offered to explain why full removal did not occur.
Sir, I know there'll be a lot of questions around the China trip, but just first on Iran, have you rejected the latest proposal from Iran, or where does that stand?
Well, I looked at it, and if I don't like the first sentence, I just throw it away.
What was the first sentence?
An unacceptable sentence. Because they fully agreed, no nuclear, and if they have any nuclear of any form, I don't read the rest of
So
it.
20 years is not enough for you, it's got to be a
No, 20 years is enough, but the level of guarantee from them is not enough. In other words, it's got to be a real 20 years, not a big one.
Means you got to get all the fuel out and no more
We
production.
have to get everything, but we're not even talking about, I call it the nuclear dust. Came up with a term which seems to have gone on.
I'm talking about because they would not remove the...
Yeah, they said that they can't remove it because they don't have the technology to remove it.
Well, you
They
could
don't have
remove
the
it
type of tractors. They say the only one, they told me directly, they said the only one that can remove it is China or the US. We're the only ones with the equipment. They said you were right, it is a complete obliteration. With that being said, I want to get it. And they agreed to it, but then they took it back, but they'll agree to it eventually.
Iran is believed to possess more than 400 kilograms of highly enriched uranium, a quantity that approaches weapons-usable thresholds and is of major concern to Western security analysts. Trump downplayed the urgency of physical removal at times, saying removing the uranium is more about PR than an absolute operational necessity if monitoring systems are robust. Still, he told Fox News he would feel better if the enriched stockpile were removed, acknowledging the political and confidence-building value of complete elimination. Donald Trump said, and I quote, "We have 9 cameras on that site, on those 3 sites, 24 hours a day. We know exactly what's happening. Nobody's even gotten close to it. I just feel better if I got it, actually," Trump said. "But I think it's more for public relations than it is for anything else." Unquote. The United States and Israel continue to insist on zero enrichment and the complete removal of all enriched uranium as non-negotiable conditions for a lasting settlement. Israel has described the removal of Iran's stockpile as a critical mission to end the conflict, arguing that eliminating the material is essential to reduce the risk of nuclear escalation. Iran, however, maintains its nuclear program is purely for peaceful and civilian purposes and repeatedly rejects demands to dismantle its nuclear infrastructure or surrender its stockpile. Instead of full dismantlement, Tehran has offered limited compromises such as temporary caps or reduced enrichment levels. This development came as Iran's foreign minister publicly questioned U.S. seriousness about negotiations, underscoring mutual distrust that complicates any path to agreement.
As I mentioned, one of our problems is that the Americans frequently make contradictory statements, conflicting messages, and unreasonable exaggerations, all of which run counter to any path of negotiation or diplomacy. Regarding the reports that the U.S. rejected Iran's proposal or Iran's response to the U.S. proposal, that refers to a few days ago when Mr. Trump tweeted that it was unacceptable. However, after that, we again received messages from the Americans expressing a willingness to continue talks and engagement. I don't know why this issue has resurfaced in the media today, but the matter dates back several days. An attack on our nuclear facilities has already taken place once, and they claim they completely destroyed them, yet now they are once again talking about attacking the facilities. These contradictory statements truly indicate the depth of Americans' confusion regarding their objectives in this war.
So the most important issue right now is the question of trust. We cannot trust Americans at all. So everything should be exact. Everything should be defined very clearly before we can conclude a deal. And it is obvious that those things they have not been able to achieve militarily, they cannot achieve on negotiation table unless there is a win-win solution achieved. So the current negotiation is suffering from the lack of trust. As far as we are concerned, the Strait of Hormuz is open and all vessels can pass except the vessels belonged to those countries who are in war with us, who are fighting with us. The situation in the Strait of Hormuz is very complicated right now, and we are trying to help ships to pass safely. Everything would go back to normal once the act of aggression is totally and completely ended. China has been helpful in the past in the resumption of relations between Iran and Saudi Arabia. We have very good relations with China. We are strategic partners to each other. And we know that Chinese have a good intention. So anything that can be done by them to help diplomacy would be welcomed by the Islamic Republic of Iran.